Okay, this is Child Development 66, Week 1. So, hello everyone. I'm Landy. How you guys doing? Today's Week 1. Did you all have a chance to look around in the Canvas shell? Yes? Do you have any questions? You know this time is not mandatory. You don't have to come to these Zoom sessions. These are just for the people. When we start getting into the assignments of writing the learning stories and designing curriculum, sometimes a lot of students need to talk it through because it's a really different way to look at children and to think about how children learn. And a lot of times they just can't get it through Canvas, and so they need to talk to somebody about it. And so that's what these times are for. So if you were working in the field, this would be called like a professional learning community. Um, but I just wrote study group because it's not a lecture. You can't come to these and get everything you need to pass the class. That's not what this time is for. The class runs itself. It's all online. Any questions? Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here. And so if I use different software, and so if you want to see my square big, you can pin my box and then I'll be bigger than everybody else's box. And here we are on the home page. And so I made some boxes down here for each week. And so you can click on it to get to where you need to go. So we're on week 1. And so we're talking about developmentally appropriate practice. And it's really important that before you do your assignments, you read through everything in the Canvas shell. Because I had someone turn in the one of the assignments already, and all they did was read the book, and so they missed a whole bunch of stuff. And so I always put what we're learning about, and then I leave in the recordings from last year or last semester. In case you want to work ahead, you can watch those videos. And then I always tell you what assignments are due this week. And then it's the same information in calendar form right here. And then there's the book right there that you need. Um, this book is out of print. And so it doesn't matter what edition you get. And if you're not a reader, it's probably good to get the digital one, and then the computer can read it to you. And so then you don't have to read the book. And so I found that most students really appreciate the digital one so that the computer can read to them. And that way, the computer can read it to you while you're washing the dishes and stuff. And so then it's not such a burden to read that book. It's really not that bad. It's only 30 pages a chapter. And then I've got a couple of links, or a lot of links here, for some of the paperwork that you're going to need for the class. And then I've got links to videos because it's still a pandemic. And for this class, you need to observe a child and then design curriculum for that specific child. And that's what is going to be your final project. And so if you don't have access to children under 5, then here's some videos that you can choose from. And so you can choose a real child or a video from this list. You can't go choose some random video that you like. Um, okay, so again, here's your book. That's what it looks like. I've got some videos about developmentally appropriate practice and how they're talking about, hold on, moving from DAP, developmentally appropriate practice, to deep. And I can't remember what that means. Hold on a minute. Let's see here. Is it here? It's developmentally um, It's something about inclusion, but it's all in this video. I haven't watched it in a long time. But the point is that NACI, which is the National Association for the Education of Young Children, has changed their position, their policy papers on what is developmentally appropriate practice. And so this video introduces those. And so they're including more equity and inclusion in their policies. And so that's what that's about. And so the way I've organized this class is every week there's one page with all of the content that you're going to need to know. And then I have these accordions that expand. And so it explains, it introduces everything to you. And I also have some bonus modules. So if this is new information, so I have a lot of students that come to me from all different places in their career. And so sometimes this is your first class, and sometimes this is your last class. And so for those of you who this is your first class and all of these acronyms are all new, you can take a look at the bonus modules and they can help you. So this one is about the California Early Learning System, and it explains what that is and how it fits in the whole system. And so for us, we are over here in professional, let me make sure. Yeah, we are here in the professional development part because we're all professionals and we're developing ourselves. And we're going to be using the curriculum framework book because this is the curriculum class. And we're going to be using the DRDP, Desired Results and Assessment System. And if I go click on modules right here, I've got a bonus module on the California Early Learning System, the California Framework books, and the DRDP, Desired Results Developmental Profile. So we're going to be using that for sure. These two we're using in this class. And so if you want more information, they're there. And the DRDP comes in English, Spanish, and Chinese, and the framework comes in English and Spanish. Okay, any questions so far? No? Okay, I'm gonna keep going here. So here again are the links to the DRDP, Desired Results Developmental Profile. Because what we're doing is we're going to be learning to design curriculum that speaks to each domain in learning, each learning domain. And so that's covered in the DRDP. And that's that. I'm going to talk every now and then, I'm going to talk about the class assessment tool. And so if you're working in a subsidized program in San Francisco County, you get observed or assessed with the class assessment tool. I think it's every 5 years if you get a good score. And if you get a bad score, they come back every year until you get a good score. And so this particular assessment focuses on teacher-child interactions. And so I'm going to show you how it applies from the perspective of curriculum. And so this just talks about that assessment tool and what they're looking for. And I have a couple of videos for you about that. And then more videos about developmentally appropriate practice. And this is a new one. It's so I told you how they added more inclusion and equity in their statements, in their developmentally appropriate practice statements. NACI, which is the National Association for the Education of Young Children, they just put out new statements from 2020. They're here, except the Mandarin one is from 2009 because they didn't have one in Mandarin last time I looked. And so I'm sorry I don't have it in Chinese, but I have it there in English and Spanish for you. More videos for my visual learners. And I talk a little bit about the teaching pyramid. And so, if you're working in a subsidized program in San Francisco County, teaching pyramid is required in those centers. And so, you need to have a little bit of an idea of what that is. And so, I tell you a little bit about it in this class. And there's a little video that talks about it a little bit. And then part of that is positive descriptive acknowledgement or positive descriptive feedback. And so I talk about that. And again, that's required if you work in a subsidized program in San Francisco County. Problem solving in the turtle technique is part of the teaching pyramid. Oh, I have the same video twice. I got to take that out. And that's it. Any questions about that? I should check the chat. I haven't done that yet. No. Okay. I'm going to keep going here. So I put in a lot of videos and a lot of information, and you take in what you need to understand the concepts I'm talking about. You don't have to watch all the videos. There's hours and hours of video, but some people prefer the videos, so that's why they're there. Okay, so about half of you have have posted in the introduction discussion, and so that's here and it's waiting for you. And I'm gonna move to the next thing without showing anybody's name there. And then the next, here's the assignment for this week. And so to do this assignment, you need to do the reading and read everything in the Canvas shell before you answer these questions. They're very simple. You know, what was a surprise? What do you wish you learned? And there's some extra credit for you. This tells you, here's the rubric, so you'll know exactly how I'm grading these. Any questions about that? And then here's a summary, and it just basically wraps everything up. And so every week, at the end of every week, I've got the link to a video, and this one is it's part one of a six-part series, and it's a roundtable discussion about the book called "Don't Look Away," and it's written by some Black scholars, and they talk about how to support Black and Brown children in child care. And so the first one is how COVID has impacted children in childcare. And that's all for this week. Okay, so any questions? Any surprises? Things that don't make sense? I told you already that there are 58 people on the wait list right now. So if you really aren't really interested in taking this class, it'd be good if you dropped it soon so someone else can start early enough to pass. Because I think you have like a couple days before it'll be too late to drop. So that's why I unlocked so much of the class so you guys could get an idea of what you're signing up for and to decide if this fits your learning style or not. And again, I make myself available during these Zoom times for those of you whose learning style needs to talk about it. So I'm guessing that all of you who showed up tonight are the ones who don't need to talk about it. No. Yes. Yes. I tried teaching this class without the book, and the feedback I got was that I left people hanging. about certain topics. And so that's why we have the book and the canvas, because the canvas goes into depth about certain things that I don't go into depth in canvas about. And so the book the book has it's really good at talking about different kinds of play and different curriculum frameworks. It goes on and on about frameworks and webbing and a lot of important information that never changes, right? And so that's why the book is so old and we're still using it. But the framework book is brand new, or it's like a year old, and that's the one that the state of California produces, and it's got updated research up to 2020, and the DRDP is from 2015, so it's kind of getting old. They're about to put out a new one, but it hasn't come out yet, so I can't teach on that yet. So for now, we have the most recent DRDP and the most recent framework book, and we have the older textbook. And I adopted it this year, so there should be 10 copies in the library, and so you can check out the book for the whole semester. So if you don't want to buy it, but like I said, it's a good book to have because it has all of that historical stuff. That's good to know. But I do add a lot in the Canvas shell that's not in the book. Any questions? Did any of you look ahead in the assignments? Does it all make sense? Okay. Some of you clicked over to week 5, and I was really surprised because no one was clicking on week 4. They were clicking on week 5. And so I don't understand that, but because week 4 and 5 are still locked. And so then I went and looked, and week 4, which everybody skipped, is webbing, and week 5 is the learning domains. So I don't know why that one was so exciting, but all of you were in, well, not all of you, a few of you were interested in that. So if you don't have any other questions, then that's it. That's all the important things I have to say. And so what I do is I turn off the recording